Good afternoon, just about afternoon, everybody. I'm Marie Metham. Welcome to this PPMA webinar. So as I say, I'm Marie Metham and I'm from Lincolnshire County Council. I'm one of the strategic HR business partners there, and I'm also a member of the PPMA Management Board, and I'm your host for the webinar this afternoon. So as you'll know, this is one of a series of webinars from PPMA where we've been showcasing our award winners from earlier in the year. And today is the Service Superstar Team Award webinar. So we're delighted to be joined by Roger Clements from oneSource Matrix and Sharon Martinez, Anna Martinez and Jenny Neal from Stockport Metropolitan Borough Council, who are going to talk to us about their entries for the Service Superstar Team Award, winning entries. So just a couple of housekeeping things before we start today. The session is being recorded, but that's just so that anyone who can't be with us can attend and watch it on catch up. And our webinar series is very popular for people who can't make the actual sessions but want to catch up on them. So we will be recording. Don't worry about that though. It's only, I think, the presenter and myself who will be visible on the recording. So keep your camera off or on, whichever you prefer. If I can just ask you to turn your mics off during the presentation, and we'll have opportunity for questions at the end. But if you want to put anything in the chat as you go along, if something occurs to you, by all means do that as well. So looking forward to today's session very much. And handing over firstly to Roger from Matrix.
Thank you, Marie, and good afternoon, everyone. I will just share my screen and hopefully this will all come through. Okay, I'll put it on full screen. Yeah, absolutely delighted to be here today. Just a quick introduction for myself. I'm Roger Clements. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Matrix. For those of you who don't know Matrix, we are a service provider and partner with oneSource, and have been working with oneSource for many years. Particularly across many of the London boroughs. We put an entry in for the Service Superstars Team Award, and I guess it's really difficult for me to pull out one particular thing that we're proud of, because the team is a joint team who, between oneSource and Matrix, who have been working tirelessly together to improve what we see as our main mission around connecting people to work. Our role with oneSource for London and for Havering and Newham is to improve the way in which the boroughs connect with particularly the local populations within Newham and Havering for opportunities for temporary work, but also extending beyond that into opportunities for permanent and for long-term employment with the boroughs. The team consists of, well, there are probably too many to mention, but everything through from Mark Porter, who's the head of HR operations for oneSource, and Helen Massey, right the way through to our team, which includes Julian Panter. I think many of you will know Julian, who runs a number of contracts across Matrix within the local authority market, and then ably supported by Rachel, Ben, Paul and Lisa from our teams. As I say, one of the things we are most proud of as part of our work with Newham and Havering, well, actually there are several things. First of all, it's the connection that we have with the local communities, and I'm going to come on to that in a little bit more detail very shortly. But at the heart of what we do is driving cost, apart from creating opportunities and making sure that that the boroughs are connecting with the local population for work opportunities. We're also very focused around driving efficiencies and ensuring that the operating costs for Newham and Havering are reduced as it relates to the engagement of staff. Over the time of working with Newham and Havering, we've generated just over, actually, it's about 1.1 million in savings relating to recruitment costs and for agency workers within the boroughs. That in itself is only great if the service is also superb. And we believe, and we have, proud of the feedback that we receive from the HR teams and the business management teams in Newham and Havering around the capability, the partnering behaviours of our teams. For those, I'm going to quickly move on. And for those that don't know who Matrix are, we are a technology platform and a business that helps those organizations engage and source and also compliant screen independent workers or temporary workers. And ultimately, we make it easier and more efficient for our clients to engage workers. Our passion is all around connecting people to work, and that is straightforward recruitment services, working with local agencies and local suppliers, but also with social enterprise groups and other parties that help create a direct connectivity for the boroughs with their local employment population. The piece that we are most proud of is on top of just the baseline of doing a good service, reducing costs, creating an efficient service for the hiring stakeholders within the boroughs. One of the biggest parts of our what we believe our focus and role is to support an enduring and long-term improvement in the working in the working across the working populations within the regions we serve. Our teams, whilst they are involved in the day-to-day work of fulfilling quite often sort of live, real-time and just-in-time hiring activity, the team is also focused and actually within the oneSource and Matrix partnership actively encouraged to support local communities, and that support and that social value support for local communities comes in a range of forms. Our teams have been involved in working with at the other end of the employment spectrum, where there are unfortunate redundancies. Our teams have been involved in running workshops for those affected by redundancy around goal setting, interview skills preparation, and essentially selling themselves for future opportunities. As well as that, what we do is work with a number of schools, colleges, and local enterprise groups or social groups within the boroughs. Siobhan Goss, who actually was not mentioned during the Service Superstars Award, but actually is well worth and well deserving of a significant mention. She is responsible for driving a lot of these social value initiatives. We work with Newham College to support students around their employability skills, and volunteers from Matrix and also oneSource ran a series of mock interviews for all their travel and tourism students within London College of Newham. And we ran workshops across industry insights, looking at roles and what employment opportunities within Newham and Havering mean. We ran a series of workshops within local libraries as part of the Havering Community Day, and across all of these workshops, it's all around employability skills. Helping local communities and local individuals and skills within the local community improve their opportunities for career and opportunities for work in the future. A lot of that will include when we were undertook again with oneSource and ourselves, we ran a learning at work week, which was all around sort of helping individuals around internal application forms, helping some of the local communities, particularly the colleges, around apprenticeships and how to support and improve your own employability in the future. This has actually led to us being now, and again, working in partnership with oneSource and a number of local authorities across the country. We are proud to now working in partnership with a national awareness campaign called National Interview Week, which is where we're actually in 1 week later this year, we'll be putting 5,000 students through interview coaching sessions, really to address a growing gap between education and school leavers particularly, and employability and workforce readiness. We're running this campaign in partnership with Tim Campbell, who may be familiar to a number of you, who was the first ever winner of the BBC Apprentice. But one of the things we're focusing in with our customers across the local authority market is making sure that the schools and colleges, well, particularly the colleges, we are targeting this year 12 students, are involved and actively involved in bringing is in highlighting the opportunities to students to be involved in this program. So hopefully that gives a flavor of the work we do. It's very, very difficult for us to pull out one specific thing we're proud of. We're proud of the partnership that we have with oneSource, and the partnership between us with oneSource and ourselves with our HR teams within the London Borough of Havering and Newham. Most of all, however, our service, we believe, drives great feedback. The team are motivated to deliver great service, but our strong belief and our passion is that the teams that work on all of our contracts, and this one being no different, is that they're driven by the mission of connecting people to work. It is and that is both in terms of the day-to-day work they do with the recruitment process, but more fundamentally the work we do with local communities around improving employability, improving the growth of local skills and employment within the regions we serve. That hopefully I think I've just stuck to my time slot. So thank you very much for inviting me particularly, and I definitely invite any questions there may be.
Thanks very much, Roger. So can't see any questions in the chat at the moment. So I will hand over to Jenny to do the presentation from Stockport, and then we'll come back to see if there's any more questions at the end.
Wonderful, thank you. So I'm just going to share my screen. And Marie, if you could just let me know when that's working.
It's just coming through. Yes, it's working now.
Is that on full screen?
It is, yes.
Well, thank you. Okay, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Jenny Neal, and I'm the Head of HR and Organisational Development at Stockport Council. And I've got two key members of my team that I'm going to introduce now, who are also going to support me with this presentation. So, Anna, you're the first person I can see on my screen.
Yeah.
Sorry, Anna, do you want to introduce yourself?
Oh, sorry, yes, sorry. So I'm Anna Martinez, I'm the HR Payroll Manager for Stockport Council.
Wonderful, thanks, Anna. And Sharon.
Good morning, everyone. Or it's afternoon now, isn't it? Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sharon Martinez. I'm the HR Technical Payroll and Pensions Manager for Stockport Council.
Wonderful, thanks both. So I'll bring them in shortly. We're going to do a bit of a collective effort on talking to you about our Service Superstar Team Award. But just starting off this presentation with why we put ourselves forward, why we put the team forward for this. I think through the pandemic, workforce has become a kind of real strong focus for specifically Stockport Council, but for all of us in terms of how important that workforce has been, getting people through a really difficult time. And I think the work that took place at the start of that pandemic, business as usual being done all the time, but so the extra stuff to support colleagues. So the team collectively across our whole service area were responsible for really supporting colleagues in really challenging times, one-to-one conversations, coaching, a huge focus on engagement. So at various times during the early months of the pandemic, just checking in with colleagues on how they were feeling, how they were responding to communication, flexible working, any concerns that they had with IT, their arrangements at home, health and safety, equipment, just really responding and mobilising as quickly as possible so our workforce could be as supported as they best possibly could be. And I think for me, during that time, the workforce received a sort of different definition and different focus than perhaps had been previously. There really was a change in how people started to feel valued, working in the most challenging of circumstances, but really coming together as a huge team, a one-team approach. So the results of the engagement sessions that I spoke about and pulse surveys that we set out started to help us develop a people plan. And Stockport Council at that point didn't have a people plan. It didn't really have a people strategy underpinning all of the work. And we talk a lot through the council plan about people being at the heart of everything that we do. Well, workforce is our most important asset and absolutely is critical to that. So I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how the team have developed the people plan, mobilised that and the work that they've done, which led to us being really, really proud of everything that they deliver every day, going over and above, and the feedback that we've got from teams across the council for us to say, actually, we think we're doing something pretty special here, and really wanted the team to get that recognition. So I'm just going to scroll through, bear with me. Okay, so that's our award-winning HR team, and they've absolutely been fundamental in terms of the organisational and cultural change that has taken place within our organisation. And the overarching team encompasses payroll and employee lifecycle, recruitment, business partnering, employee relations, and improvement as well. And that team really consistently and effectively look at applying the council's values in all their actions, everything that they're possibly doing to guarantee exceptional service delivery. And that's not what we know, that's what our organisation tells us as well. So that's absolutely rooted in feedback and responding to what our people across our organisation are telling us. So that led to us to create our One Team People plan. I'm going to talk you through a couple of the pillars because that's kind of where we focused on some of the key areas of our delivery. And our team has been an absolute catalyst for our transformation ambitions across the organisation. This One Team People plan has brought together, we've got about 3,000 staff in our council, a really strong group of people that sit right across the organisation, working from lots of different service areas with workforce at their absolute heart of their priorities. So there's a group of heads of service and senior managers from right across the council that meet, was weekly during the pandemic, now monthly, to really look at issues that we're hearing from the workforce and how we can respond collectively and shape our sort of transformation plans and our priorities. Our team has been absolute at the heart of organisational and cultural change, really thinking about our language, how we're working together, thinking about how we want our organisation to feel. So if we're thinking about attracting and retaining our talent, it's about how that organisation makes you feel, really thinking about that cultural aspect. The team absolutely do go the extra mile to deliver outstanding services in anything we do. So whatever issues that have been raised from either the corporate leadership team or coming in from our colleagues around some issues that they're facing, our team are really sort of solution focused in terms of what is it that we can do to help. And hopefully you'll hear from Anna and Sharon when they talk a little bit more about the practicalities of what that looks like. Really fosters a culture of collaboration, really working as that one team in everything that we do. So how can we work together? What solutions can we bring? And knowing that, you know, just with that small person, we're not going to have the answers ourselves. We've got to work as a whole team. So whether or not that's within our service or with people across our organisation, to bring different expertise together to get the right solutions. Always dedicated to ongoing learning and development, looking at how we can do things better. We get something to where we want it to be, and then the challenge is, what next? How can we do that even better? And really focused around developing and maintaining strong and trusted relationships across our organisation as well. So right across lots of different directorates and service areas, continuously looking at enhancing our delivery methods and how we respond to feedback. And that feedback is all rooted in our All Colleagues survey. We only launched the first one last year, so we've just gone into our second cycle as well. And that gives us really important insight from our organisation about what's working, what's brilliant, and what do we need to focus on improving. So we are really proud of our achievements, really proud that we've got that real strong focus of workforce in everything that we do, right from our chief exec and our leader of the council to all parts of our organisation. And we've kind of selected a number of pillars that have enabled us to have some really sort of cross-organisation focus on where we've seen issues. So I had a very strong focus on recruitment. Everyone that we speak to are really struggling with recruitment and the market, and specifically we were really having some issues in Stockport from certain areas like social care, planning officers, project managers, some of our IT roles. So we've really looked at what our offer is within Stockport. We're limited in terms of how we can enhance pay, but we do really believe that we've got a really strong employee value proposition. So we've really tried to market our whole offer as a public sector employer. It's not just the salary, it's actually the other things that we offer in terms of flexible working, our pensions, our benefits, and really try to promote that and to attract new candidates. So looking at a dynamic and innovative approach to recruitment, making sure that we've got a really strong web presence, promoting across a range of social media platforms to really sell what our offer is. And then we've also included things like case studies from colleagues from right across our organisation about why they work for the council, so that we can try and attract new talent. We've developed some job fairs. We've just very recently, a couple of weeks ago, had another job fair where we had over 550 people came through the door, where we've done interviews on the day, made job offers as a result of that. And we've also really looked at some of our communities where we really struggle potentially to recruit people, so that we've had a really more inclusive approach to recruitment, and spent some time in those communities to really understand the blockers and the barriers, and really try to promote people coming into our organisation. So our social media profile has really created quite a lot of movement, and feedback that we're getting from across our workforce is that we're seeing better movement in terms of recruitment and stronger candidates coming through the door. We've really focused on that whole thought about feeling supported by us. So wellbeing has been a really, really strong focus for us, but also looking at how we support our organisation. So we've developed the role of business partners who have that strategic involvement in our directorates, where they are there to support and guide and really earn their place at the table in terms of being helpful in terms of the information and the data that they present, but also working with our directorates and their senior management team to look at some of the solutions. So it's more about those interactions rather than the transaction. They're there to have that conversation with the directorates and put their own sort of recommendations and thoughts forward. Really looking at sort of those organisational challenges that potentially we've got in different parts of our organisation, and looking at bespoke solutions, because it isn't a one-size-fits-all problem at all. You know, what happens in our place directorate could be very different to what's happening in children's services, the different range of roles that we've got there, the different challenges that they're facing. So looking at how we can really target that specialist support to work out solutions in those areas. And those roles have been really vital in terms of facilitating transformation and looking at some of the changes and aligning that with our council plan, because that's our overarching priority as a council, that we're delivering that council plan to improve the borough for our residents. But all the work that every single one of us, regardless of what that role is, ultimately contributes to delivery of that council plan. We've been a lot more explicit with that, so people can start to see how they fit within that delivery. And another part of that feeling supported by us is that approach to casework, and centering that around restorative practice. So that originally came from our children's service, which their whole cultural change programme is rooted in a very much approach of doing with, not to or for, and very focused on relationships and that belief of high support, high challenge that you can have when you've got those really strong relationships. So we've taken that focus into our casework as well, because that's an area that is such high conflict, can be quite harmful to the individual, to the organisation. And are there ways that we can work in a more mediative way to try and prevent some of those cases escalating, focusing on relationships? Okay, I'm just going to pause and I'm going to bring Anna in to talk about some of the work that we've really focused on in terms of continuous improvement.
Thanks, Jenny. So in the last year of the service, we focused on implementing a range of processes which enhance how our customers have interacted with ourselves. And we've given managers and employees much more autonomy. So we launched our payroll self-service, and we've seen the development of launch of online HR forms, automated HR workflows, and created an online training modules for staff as well. So the team rolled out our payroll self-service to all its customers, which enables our employees to manage their own payroll submissions, which in turn is then authorised by their manager. So employees are taking control over their payments and can track their authorisation process, receiving confirmation of when it's paid as well. And this gives the employee the autonomy and responsibility for claiming their own payments. And due to this, we've seen a reduced time frame from date earned to date paid. And we've seen an increase in the accuracy of payments, while also reducing queries, as the process is transparent and also auditable. So we also went on and developed 365 forms, which are really intuitive and capture all the details we would need for the life cycle of our employees. These forms fall straight into a work planner. We assign them out to the team to work through, enabling our HR and payroll officers to work through with much more clear and more accurate details. The forms in turn capture key data, which automatically feeds into a dashboard, so we have greater understanding of the HR activities being undertaken across our customers and service. And this process has enabled us to control the payroll lifecycle with confidence and much more higher degree of accuracy. Moving on, the process online has enabled us to capture about 8,000 HR activities so far this financial year, which is absolutely amazing. So part of our role in HR is to have an understanding of how its resource requirements are, but also tangled insights whether there's budget for the demand. So working with colleagues in finance, we designed an automated approval process for managers to request resources needs, whether it be evaluating a job, maybe agency workers, increasing someone's hours, or even filling a vacancy. The approval process has touched on all the key services and relevant authorisations to manage the council's resources and provides a significant reduced time frame at a time when recruitment and end-to-end times are so important. So this development in this new online form saw that within 3 days, 68% of the actual workflows had been approved, which is fantastic. So whilst transforming and improving how we work, we've also designed and created automatic workflows that are driven by our payroll system. We've designed sickness workflows that prompt managers ahead of trigger points, enabling them to manage sickness absence. We've also used this approach for induction process and probationary periods, rights to work in the UK, and even fixed term contract reminders. So whilst improving how we manage these processes and support our managers, it's also enabled us to focus on less transactional processes so we can continue developing and improving key activities whilst having a much greater understanding of our own organisational needs and demands. So I'm now going to pass over to my colleague who's now going to talk about Pillar of Thriving with us.
Hi everyone. Here at Stockport, we're really proud of what we've been able to achieve and to be winners of the Service Superstar Award. I think our wider HR team have and continue to work closely to deliver an excellent service, and we were thrilled to have been shortlisted, let alone the added bonus of winning this category. The majority of the people involved in what we've achieved in our submission as the HR operations team are what you may refer to as back office. And some areas, such as recruitment, can be more public facing, but the majority sit quietly in the background and I suppose a bit like a cog would keep the wheels turning with each team interlinking. As I mentioned, as it's mentioned in our submission, we really do place great emphasis on working together between our teams and across the council, ensuring the back office makes a difference at the front end of the organisation. As a wider HR function, our aim is always to deliver an excellent service, and we're continually looking for ways in which we can improve what we do and expand on our offer to employees, whilst also keeping our focus on the residents of Stockport Borough. Jenny mentioned the pillars that have been a foundation for our submission, and I'm going to focus a little bit on this final one, which, as you can see in the slide, is entitled Thriving With Us. Something the council has paid close attention to is the impact the cost of living has had and continues to have on our employees. These are really difficult times for many people. And in addition to managing the technical payroll and pensions team, I also manage our employee benefit schemes. And something we've really tried to focus on is improving our benefits offer and linking it with the overarching theme of employee health and well-being. Through various means, Jenny's mentioned surveys, etc. As an organisation, we've taken the time to listen to our employees to find out what it is they want and they need from us as their employer and work hard to meet those needs. We don't always get it right, and some things are out of our control, such as pay, but where we can, we will, and we do. So I'm just going to run through some of the things we've been doing and that we're proud of. One thing we've done is we've expanded our employee benefits offer, and we've introduced a number of both salary sacrifice and net pay deduction schemes outside of the mainstream government approved cycle to work and childcare voucher schemes. We've introduced home electronics, bike shop, gym membership, salary finance, bus and rail schemes, car lease, and also a car club contract that we changed that's not only available to our employees but also the general public. And where permissible, we've extended the repayment periods to ensure that employees towards the lower earning end of the table are able to participate without falling below the national minimum wage. And that really has made a difference, not only to some of the lower earners, but also to our part-time workers. We've brought all of our benefits together into a single platform via a third-party provider that we're working alongside. This includes our local benefits and discounts from companies within the borough, raising awareness and helping those businesses to grow, but also offer discounts and offers from the national organisations, some of the most popular ones being your mainstream supermarkets, your Asda's, your Tesco, Sainsbury's, etc. But that's not all. We care about the overall health and well-being of all our employees, so we've introduced free access to support through EAP and Employee Assistance Programme. Not only does this provide employees with self-help workbooks to download, blogs and webinars, but there's a 24/7 helpline where they have access to confidential support when they need it most, whether that be mental, physical, financial or personal issues that they may be facing. They can find a wide range of resources at their fingertips. And incidentally, the 24/7 helpline is totally independent from any advice provided from the council's mainstream counselling services. And because not everyone really wants their employer to know what issues they may be facing, whether that be personal or work related. So the helpline and any clinical sessions that employees wish to take up is completely confidential, completely free and independent from the council. But it doesn't stop there. We have made our employee benefit platform with all the wellbeing content available not only to the close to 3,000 employees that Jenny mentioned, but also to our schools, to our care leavers, where we have corporate parenting responsibilities, to our foster carers and to elected members, widening the net as far as possible across the borough. As you can see from the slides, we held a mind, body and bank account event, and there are plans in the pipeline to hold more of those. The aim was to focus on the five ways to well-being, which are to connect, to get active, take notice, learn and to give. We identified a communal space in the workplace for 3 to 4 hours, and employees were given the opportunity to get away from their desks for a little while and to come along. We invited benefit providers who had stands and freebies to hand out. There was a cycling competition from one of our Stockport gyms, and also one-to-one sessions were offered with our resident advice and support service. We included public health colleagues to carry out blood pressure tests and cancer awareness stalls, and our employee wellbeing champions were also in attendance to talk to employees. Stockport has around 55 to 60 wellbeing champions, which is fabulous. And with this event, we just wanted to give employees that little bit of space to take time out for themselves, whilst also raising awareness of what was an offer from us as an employer that they may not have known about. I should add that the event didn't take much time to organise. It's just a few phone calls, a few giveaways, asks for some giveaways for some freebies, and a little bit of space in the office. And being able to get involved and champion health and wellbeing is something that can be incorporated into any organisational job role, and seeing the difference it can make to people's lives is rewarding. I'm very fortunate to work in an area that's forward thinking and recognises how predominantly back office job roles are often at the forefront of the organisation, and how they can fit and contribute to the council's plans, vision and values, making a difference to our employees and to our residents. I think, as I said earlier, we're continually striving to improve upon what we do and what we can offer. As one of the largest employers within Stockport Borough, Stockport Council has a duty to respond to and provide excellent services to its residents. And many of our employees are, of course, also residents of the borough. So their health and well-being is important to us. And as they thrive, the organisation thrives. So that's just a few of the things that I could cram into these few minutes to share with you today. But there's much more in the pipeline, because one thing I've noticed in over the 20 years that I've been working for Stockport Council is that we never stand still. We're always looking for ways to improve and to get better at what we do and what we can offer. Back over to you, Marie.
Thank you very much. Okay, so great presentations there from Matrix and Stockport. So thank you, Roger, Jenny, Anya, and Sharon. Any questions anybody would like to ask? Don't think we've got any in the chat at the moment. Okay. None at the moment. So it just remains for me then to say thank you very much for those fabulous presentations today. And hopefully that's given people who are on the call some really good food for thought and ideas you can take back to your own organisations. I know it's given me lots. And I might be in touch with some of you afterwards, because I've had some really good ideas from things you've presented. Thank you very much. Just one final plug from me on behalf of PPMA. You may have seen that the PPMA conference, the details have now been advertised. It's going to be held in Birmingham next year, 24th to 26th of April, and bookings will go live in November, so keep an eye out for that. So thank you very much again for attending today. Hopefully see you again soon at either another PPMA webinar or an in-person event. Thanks everyone.